WrestleMania 42 is just around the corner, right? So let's take some shots in the dark at the 3-night card, so just keep watching. You know the drill, it's time to predict the card for WrestleMania 2 that is merely an entire year away, so here goes 20 matches over 3 nights as we head on down to New Orleans. And this is especially tough to do before the draft, we'll note that, or any shakeup that they want to do, like that terrible transfer window. So let's start with WrestleMania SmackDown, where we have 6 matches, and we will start it off just like they did a few days ago with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. They brought it back, so we may as well think they're gonna keep doing it. So that's match number 1. Match number 2, we're gonna have a fatal 4-way women's match that perhaps will be a number 1 contender match for either the US title or the IC title, because it's going to feature 2 Raw superstars and 2 SmackDown superstars. On the Raw side, it'll be Lyra Valkyria and Julia. And on the SmackDown side, yeah, it'll still be Chelsea and Zelina, but you can see neither of them have the title now. In our next match, we've got a steel cage match featuring LA Knight versus Big Bronson Reed. I think that is a really good match to put on SmackDown WrestleMania, but since it's not for a title, it'll be right in the middle. In our 4th match, we've got a fatal 4-way between a bunch of guys who have at least some sort of connection to the dark arts, with Damian Priest, Aleister Black, who should be debuting this week on SmackDown, Finn Balor, potentially as the Demon, and Uncle Howdy of the Wyatt Six. So something spooky simply has to be going on here. In our 5th match, we've got the WWE Tag Team Championships, and I'm sorry, but we simply have to put some SmackDown titles on the line on this show, so it will be Fraxium defending the titles against the Street Profits. And in our main event, we will do the exact same thing with a title match, so it will be the Women's United States Championship, and I feel badly for demoting both of them out of WrestleMania, but man, there were not enough spots that I was hoping to find, so Jade Cargill will walk in as the champion, and she'll take on Tiffany Stratton. So let's go to WrestleMania Night 1, and just like a few days ago, both nights will have 7 matches. So kicking off WrestleMania will be Big Time, with Big Time Bex defending her women's title against Io Sky. And for the 2nd straight year, I will be picking Io to win the Royal Rumble. And obviously she's not having a full year title reign, so it'll be Becky as a heel going in as champion. In our 2nd match, we're going back to the well with a 6-pack ladder match for the World Tag Team titles, with the Usos as the champions, since this will give Jay the soft landing that he deserves after losing the title at SummerSlam, and he'll take on the Lucha Brothers, yes, that is Penta and Rey Fenix, versus the New Day, versus the War Raiders, versus the Motor City Machine Guns, coming over from SmackDown, and versus Rey Mysterio and Andrade, because the other LWO guys are simply not working out at this point. In our next match, we've got Jacob Fatu taking on Drew McIntyre in a last man standing match, as this will culminate a big feud to prove who the toughest man on SmackDown is. Up next, we've got the Women's Intercontinental Championship Triple Threat match, and yes, that title is actually getting on the WrestleMania this time around, and it'll be Nia Jax as the champion taking on Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Up 5th will be a fatal 4-way match for the Men's Intercontinental Championship, and here we have AJ Styles coming in as the championship, and he'll have a tough matchup against Rusev, who just returned on Monday, Chad Gable, since I'm pretty sure El Grande Americano will be gone by then, and yes, with another shot, it'll be Sheamus, because maybe, just maybe, this will be the time that he completes that Grand Slam. In our 6th match, we will go inside of a cell as we get Bayley versus Charlotte Flair, because with Bayley saying she's got 1.5 years left on her contract, well, we're not gonna leave her out of what could possibly be her last WrestleMania match, and she deserves to go out against one of the other 4 horsewomen. And in our main event for Saturday, we've got the undisputed WWE Championship between Cody Rhodes as champion again when he takes back that title from Cena, facing the winner of the Royal Rumble, CM Punk. Yep, I'm picking the exact same two people that I picked last year to be the Rumble winners, and it simply has to happen sometime, right? Well, I hope so, because time is at least running out on Punk. And at night 2 of WrestleMania, we're gonna start it off with the World Heavyweight Championship with Seth Rollins. He's definitely going to benefit from that new alliance that we just saw on Raw. But even though he's going to become champion at SummerSlam by beating Jey Uso, you know he'll eventually go too far, but he won't be able to get inside of the Elimination Chamber to stop Braun Breaker from winning that match to finally get his hands on Rollins. Match number 2 is two guys that deserve a great WrestleMania match, and one of them will be a bad guy by then. I actually think it'll be Sami Zayn, and he will take on Randy Orton in just what should be a really great match. Up third will be a fatal 4-way for the Women's Tag Team Championships, and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross will walk in as the champions as Wyatt's 6 members, and they'll face Naomi and Jada Parker as a pretty brand new team. Then a team we always seem to see, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, now fully on the main roster and taking on the big return of the Bella Twins, who will have one final WrestleMania in their last run together. The fourth match will be a one-on-one bout that will try to steal the show, as new fan favorite Dominic Mysterio will be taking on a guy we still love to hate in Logan Paul. Fifth will be a fatal 4-way match for the United States title, and you know Gunther always seems to have a title, and with the WWE title occupied by Cena and then Rhodes, he'll go on a run here because he's going to move to SmackDown in the draft. So we're going to go up against a bunch of guys here that always seem to be kind of tied together in NXT, with Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. That sounds like a pretty good fatal 4-way to me. In our semi-main event, we've got the Women's WWE Championship with Bianca Belair as the champion, as she will be taking care of Naomi and Jade early on, and that will set her up to go on to a great heel run by beating Tiffany Stratton for the title, and that will then set up perfectly for Rhea Ripley to win the Elimination Chamber, and since she has not won that one yet, we need to check that off of the list. So this will give us that great match that we should have had this year. And in our main event of night 2, we're gonna have a tribal combat match to determine who the true High Chief is. And indeed, the true leader of the bloodline, and I'm simply counting out The Rock of ever facing Cody Rhodes now that it didn't happen this year. So we're going to say that The Rock is down to his last final match as the final boss before he retires, so it simply has to be Roman Reigns here as his opponent. And for the love of all things holy, this simply has to be where The Rock hangs him up for good, so we don't have to keep speculating and mostly being let down over and over again every single year. So with this being 12 months away, let's just say that the card is subject to change. And there will certainly be other injuries, including KOs. Sorry, don't think you're even going to be back yet. As well as other additions and subtractions to the roster that I simply didn't count on here. So I still think this is a pretty good starting point since we are a year away. But if you want a shorter time frame, be sure to go right on over here and check out Doc's monthly list of who should be next for each main roster title. And until next time, I am the SportsZu, and this has been the OK Not OK podcast.